Where should we start? Is awareness equal to perception? And if awareness is not perception, not just perception, then what else is it? Are you aware now? Yes. So if you are aware now, and awareness is more than perception, then what more than perception is there now? Is here now, starting from here. So what more than perception is here? How do we recognize this consciousness and that which is aware even of consciousness?
So it's a knowing that I exist from here.
Yes. But is it a knowing really? Let's explore. How would we say knowing? What does knowing mean? Like I have a belief in an idea of something that is conceptual. Like you're sitting. Of course, the sitting, the label is conceptual, but you perceive, and that you call knowledge, and many will take perceptual knowledge to be stronger. So if somebody told you, or you know for a fact that the city of Agra is 100 kilometers away, but the Taj Mahal is in front of you, then you will override your conceptual knowledge because you're seeing the Taj Mahal in front of you. So this must be Agra. So, so this is what is usually called knowing. But do you know yourself in this way? And can you know yourself in this way? And this must be the first question that we ask in Vedanta, because in Vedanta, first thing they tell you is leave your perceptions. They are unreal, they're valueless, they are meaningless, they're coming and going, they're between birth and death. So everything you can do to get you to leave attachment to perception, they tell you. Okay? So our question then should be, so how do I know what is beyond perception? The unlimited nature of your being and that which is aware even of this unlimited nature. There is no worldly form of knowledge that can get this. It's not just some information that you have or something that you're perceiving. Then what is the difficulty?
To keep the attention on this.
But can you do it with attention? So it may sound like, because of the way I'm saying, that you can't perceive it, you can't think about it. So then what am I meant to do with my attention? I'm supposed to take it inwardly and keep it on my awareness. And therefore, then I'm supposed to sit like that all the time. And then I will be in self-knowledge or be self-recognized, an Atma Gyani, you see. But can you meet awareness with your attention? Can you bring attention to awareness? Okay, let's really look. So we may say that I keep my attention on the pulsating tip of the iceberg of being, which is the primordial vibration of I amness itself, which we may call the Atma or the Sadguru presence or the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it. You may bring your attention till there. Try to take it further from there. Take it further back. We may get a sense of pulsation there, which we may put our attention on. But can you put your attention on the unlimited nature of your being? Because if I ask you what is the nature of your being, is it limited or unlimited? You'll say it's unlimited. You see? But do you recognize that with your attention, that it's unlimited? Because attention itself is limited. So how will the limited tell you about the unlimited? Cannot do it. So you can't do it with your attention. So your attention, if you needed a stick if you need to give it a stick to hold on to so that it doesn't cause so much trouble, then we may put it at the in the presence or the vibratory sense of the presence. But we cannot really bring it to the self. Self-recognition, if it happened through attention, then it would also be a perception, isn't it? What does attention bring you? Perception and
knowing.
how? Give me an example. Like bring your attention to that which is beyond perception and show me.
I cannot show you,
Just tell me.
but I feel that I have to focus in some way
Yeah.
to the beingness. I cannot.
Yes. Who's aware of being?
Aware of being.
You are. And on this eye, bring your attention.
I'm aware of myself.
Yes. Bring attention to that. Can you do it?
Yes.
Okay. What does it look like?
Like nothing.
If you bring attention to something, then attention must perceive a quality, at least one quality, isn't it?
It can be more subtle because
Yeah, it may be the subtlest quality, but most likely we're just imagining like a dark, empty space or something like that, which is not very subtle actually. It's very, very blunt. Hmm? Like we may mistake like a darkness to be the emptiness which is spoken about in Satsang. So attention at best can go at the in the realm of all of this color, sound, all of that. Or you may say, I keep it in a dark, empty space, so I perceive only like a empty, dark room. You see? But actually, there is no big deal in perceiving a dark, empty room because in the world, you can go and sit in a dark, empty room. You don't need to do so much sadhana and tapasya and all of these things. But who is aware of even that dark, empty room?
myself.
Yes, on the eye that is aware, how would you know that your attention is on it? Like your attention can be on the hand, can be on this face.
Yeah.
You know attention is there.
Yeah.
Now bring it to yourself. What is the limit at which you cannot take attention beyond? Anything that you can perceive, anything. The subtlest, you see, is the perception through attention. But that which is witnessing that perception, can that be perceived? So if it cannot be perceived, then attention cannot be the source of that knowledge. Attention is the mode of perception, isn't it? This is very important to realize that your self-recognition is independent of attention. Otherwise, we get stuck in the effort of trying to bring our attention inwardly. Where will you bring it? What is the way in which we can leave this self-recognition? You see? So marinate in the self would be to not leave the self-recognition. So we must realize what is the way in which we leave the self-recognition. Can you leave the self-recognition with believing a thought? So try to leave your self-recognition with your attention. Take your attention to anything and see if you lose awareness about yourself as awareness or seem to lose.
You can seem to lose.
Please try to seem to lose it with your attention. Only with your attention, try to seem to lose the apparency of self-knowledge. Can you do it?
So if continuously we keep attention in the world, then we do take it, believe it also.
No, we don't. It doesn't just happen like that. So keep your attention on things here and see if you believe it also. Like is the attention is it possible to believe a perception? So if it's not possible to believe a perception, can attention not function normally in the world without us identifying? You see, otherwise the sages would just only live in the caves. How is it that they seem to have such an active life? Because if they keep the attention outside, then they will also get identified. If it was natural like that, we must distinguish between attention and belief. You see, till we do that, so that's two-way trick. The mind plays it two ways. You see, it will say either that you have to withdraw from everything, or that you can stay in the world and you will not be shaken. The self is never changing. You see, both are not true. See, because okay, so let's go step by step so that we are all together in this, right? So once you realize that independent of where your attention is, you are that which is aware. You are that which is awareness itself. And you can play with this, and see that with your attention, you cannot leave that self-knowledge. You cannot leave that clarity about who you are.
That's your natural state, is awareness of the presence.
It's just natural.
That's your natural
So
state.
now what happens that the situation seems to change?
It's that hypnosis
And
of
if we can clearly
identification.
identify what happens, you see, which is the clear cause of the change, going from clarity, and not a mental clarity, but living in the recognition of what I truly am, to the switch of being the me, and wanting things and grasping and all of this. So what has to change? Without the mechanism of identifying with the thought or belief in a thought, is there any other way to do it? To take yourself to be the false one, to log on to Maya, to whatever you want to call it. Is there any other way? Suppose there's like strong anger. Now, if attention is on that, are you stuck? Are you identified?
I feel that I leave my I amness.
Yeah. With attention, try to leave your I am. Like send it.
It seems.
Send it.
It seems.
Yeah. No, can it seem? The whole thing is about a seeming idea. The whole thing is about a seeming. Can with your attention it seem? Can it seem? Try to make it seem like you are identified or separate or individualized just with your attention.
So the seeming is
Yeah?
also the seeming is
Seeming also needs belief. Before believing, what can you do to trouble yourself? With just what else? Besides attention, what do you have? What are your other tools? With attention, before belief, what else do you have? Besides attention, we are seeing that attention is pretty harmless to the process of egoic belief, isn't it? Egoic existence. So if attention is harmless, it doesn't matter where I put my attention, I am not losing myself. Myself remains apparent to me, even if my attention is fixated on anything, or it's very universal and global. Like a sage, you're sitting, everything is in your perception, it's fine. Or it's like that. Even then, nothing has happened to you. Can we see that? Okay, and what do I mean by nothing has happened to you? When you are independent of belief, independent of identification, are you aware only of perception? Try to show me that moment where you're aware just of perception. And you've forgotten, or you're not forgotten, but you don't recognize that there is a non-perceptual witnessing which you are. Imagine if you were aware only of perception, what would it be like? You will never be able to call this world a screen. Leave the witnessing, just be with the perception. Don't be aware of the perception, just be the perception. Thank you. So, as you're open and empty, as you are in the unborn, are you aware only of perception? Sure. Confirm.
Yeah.
So that non-perceptual part, how do you find it? Who is aware only of perceptions? So you're saying that all I'm aware of is perception. This is worth then contemplating. That then is awareness equal to perception? You see? If awareness is not equal to perception, and I am aware now, what is that which is beyond perception that I'm aware of? Is that one not here? Are you not that one? And if you said I can put my attention on it, then you're saying it can be perceived. Because attention is a mode of perception, is an operation of attention. There's nothing in the sense, there's no perception left anymore without attention. You see? But did I also go? Only the nothing remains. Suppose attention is taken out of the picture, as you said. You see? What would still remain, if at all? Like, what do you know now, which is independent of your attention? That would still remain. So what is that? That's what I'm saying. That which witnesses all of this. Is that something that you know because of attention?
How can I turn off my attention?
I'm saying right now you can find something which is independent of attention. Or like the one that witnesses all the perceptions is perceived. What perceives it? You perceive it. That which is aware of all perception. If it is perceived, then who perceives it?
Everything could be happening in the mind only.
What do you mean by mind?
Activities of thinking and
A
analyzing,
bundle of
analytic.
thoughts. No?
Sorry?
Just a bundle of thoughts. Now, can a thought perceive something? At least the way we use the term mind here is to call it like the bundle of thoughts. When there is a thought and there's a belief in a thought, we call that mind. When there is no thought or no belief in thought, we call that no mind. To be in the no mind, to be open and empty, to be in the unborn. All these fancy terms just mean that we are not identified with the thought. Now, that which can perceive, what do we call that? Who is perceiving? Your being, your consciousness. When you're conscious, you perceive. When you're not conscious, it's deep sleep state, there is no perception. So your being perceives it. But who is witnessing even being? Who is aware even of being? Who is aware of perception, and is there perception without the being perceiving? What is aware of being? When you are, when I am, then I am beingness. But prior to am, how is that found? So when you said awareness is not equal to perception, what did you mean?
I don't need to perceive anything to be aware.
The perception is always there?
No,
When is it not there?
when I sleep.
Exactly. So then if it is not there when you sleep, then you could not have perceived the absence of perception. You were aware of the absence of perception. And you saw the transition from an absence of perception to the appearance of perception only after the being arose.
So what is that? I just need to let go of thoughts as they appear. In that moment, that one thought, I have to leave, then I'm empty.
Yeah.
I'll do that. And
No and.
what you said that this knowledge is there once
It's
I
already
do.
there. Tell me if it's not there now.
Like, how is perception different from awareness?
Yeah.
Now I leave every thought.
Yes. Is it not clear to you? Tell me honestly, it's okay. Is it not clear to you as you left mental understanding? Is it not clear that it's not just these perceptions? You don't have to
That-
communicate it. I'm just saying that in terms of,
Yeah, I feel there's something else. Yes.
is it a
Right
feeling?
now.
You mean you're just using the word feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like you're aware there's something else.
Yeah.
That's it. That's self-awareness.
No, didn't get it. What is awareness? Okay.
That is
There's something
self-awareness. That's
more.
self-knowledge.
There's something more. That's self-knowledge.
That something more is you or no?
Yeah.
So
But
you
didn't
recognize
that-
yourself in a non-perceptual way.
So I have that knowledge. Awareness is different from perception. Being
Correct.
aware is different.
And also that which is independent of perception, it's I. I am. Is it you or not?
Yeah.
But did I create that insight? No. I just pointed to you saying that, see that insight is there. That's my role. I cannot create that insight for you. You see? Did by asking, oh, is there something else, did it produce that? It was already there, no?
It seemed like that to me.
Huh?
It seemed like that.
When I asked, then it came over. When
Like something lights up there suddenly. Like
maybe it can seem like
focus
that,
is on that.
that it's a focus or something, but actually it's not a focus because you can focus with your attention, but you don't recognize this with attention. Like right now, you can keep attention anywhere. Still there.
Yeah.
You are still there witnessing it, and that you is not being perceived. Right now, besides perception, is there also a you which is aware of these perceptions? And that you that is aware of these perceptions cannot be perceived? Attention goes to every perception, it's fine. You are aware of these perceptions, isn't it? This you, is it perceived? I is the pointer which points anywhere. You can put the link in, no? The Guruji says the chameleon eye. You can associate it with me, you can associate it with my country, my family, me, I can be. But even the absolute is I am. I, which is amming, then becomes the light of consciousness itself. That's why it's called the self. The self would be who? Not somebody else. Call it self. So the self is what? Myself, no, I self. But not the I which we usually associate with. You see? So if I ask you, who is aware of the perception right now, these perceptions now? Would you say it's somebody else?
I can say this is not that I, that personality.
Yes, not the usual I. But
That's-
it is
that is
the
the only
it
thing.
is the most usual I. In the sense it is the I which through all the natak we've done, this I is not changed. It is you, no? The self is you. Would you rather say the self knows it?
I
You can say that.
Guru knows it.
Guru knows it. Then who knows that the Guru knows it?
Guru knows
How
it.
can you say that the Guru knows it? Is it because the Guru told you, or you know that the Guru knows it?
And this boils down to the question of faith, right? There is no
No.
reason for faith, it is there.
Nothing to do with faith. That you are meeting me at this point is more than enough faith. A very beautiful conversation we are having actually, because yes, yesterday I was meeting some of the children who are in the building, and I was saying that I am very comfortable to say that I am basically just a mere servant to the Sadguru presence within me. But I can also at the same time say that I am that within which God itself is born. Now that can seem like a huge contradiction, because at one level I'm the lowest of the lowest, not even a speck of dust in relation to the holy presence within myself. And that itself shows me that I am that which is the absolute. Both are true. And that aspect of the intellect which would struggle with a contradiction like this is not given that much importance now. Because it is undeniable that within my self, within my awareness, being is born. It also undeniable that whatever remains of me is just a foolish servant to this presence itself. Is God real? Is the Sadguru presence real? Or is it just a question of mere belief? You see, and I'm going to distinguish between belief and faith in a moment. But just let's look at belief for a moment. Or is this just fancy words? God, Sadguru, heart, intuition. Are these just convenient devices that we have believed to try and make this existence full of suffering more comfortable, trying to create a comfortable hell for ourselves through spiritual sounding means? Or is it a reality? And if it is a reality that the Sadguru presence is within you, or God's light, God's presence is within you, what are you doing in the world? And I don't mean by outward activity. That is the problem with mere belief. Because mere belief can be discarded. Faith is also beyond rationality. Okay? But faith relies on your insight. You trust the non-perceptual, invisible insight when the whole world is chasing you to believe that which is visible. That requires faith. It's not just a mere belief. In belief, you will take sides. You see? You take a bet on that which is beyond perception. And not a mere small bet, but to bet your whole life. That needs faith. Beliefs are self-serving. Beliefs are things we pick up so that, oh, my life can be better. For faith, we can sacrifice ourselves. Betting without this taking a risk of that which is known. You have to risk everything which you think you know. Without taking that risk, all this talk of open and empty and unborn is just going to be talk. Till you become a sadhu inwardly, a true sadhu inwardly, which means that you renounced inwardly all attachments, then the mind can always tempt you. If you're still attached, it can always tempt you. All it has to do is press that button. It's very easy. That doesn't mean that temptations won't come and you will not be tempted from time to time, but at least the inner intention has to be to let go of it. If there is God, if there is the Sadguru, then do I need to have a way to live? Whose life would it be anyway? You're seeing today the connection between uh, the two wings of bhakti and jnana. You lean into one and the other one sprouts by itself. You lean into the other and the other one sprouts by itself. But it cannot be a convenient jumping around. You must really dive in. So when a question is asked, it could be even a question like, where are you right now? If it has come to you in satsang, even a question like, where are you right now? You must dive in without changing the question. You don't want to spend your whole life digging shallow wells. You carry that intention that I have to become something, even that I have to become enlightened or a teacher or a master or whatever. Then how is that kept alive? This kept alive through the temptation from the mind, which will tell you, you do this, then you will be more free. And we are back again into the chakra view of the mind, taking ourselves to be the limited one. But if you don't have any notion of elevation, then you will not grasp it so much from the mind. So if your mind says, but I don't want to be humble, I just want to be empty, then be empty. But if you're going to be something, then be humble. You see? Because anytime humility is over, I don't want to be humble, I want to be empty. Be empty. So servitude or emptiness. Those are the only two options for a true devotee. That's a no-win situation for the mind. If you truly accept it, if you truly, from your heart, want to serve or just be empty, neither of these positions is attractive to the mind. The mind just wants to be special. See, I got it. I got it. You will not be the first one to make me and God possible at the same time. That much I can promise you. As all the sages have told us, the lane is too narrow. There can be only God or me. All your attempts to live on your terms are to try and prove otherwise. But this much, if nothing else, I can say this much I can tell you that that is not going to happen. You will not be the first one to have an ego and God at the same time. So let go of your boundaries. Let go of pride. Let go of what you think you know. Allow the presence to move your life. And don't question why. That needs faith. Because that is risky. to the mind.